William Ruto. Now, to overturn any of the clauses contained in the bill required 233 members to vote for the clause. Martin Opio reports.
The quagmire over what happens to the finance bill after it was rejected was finally settled at the plenary Thursday afternoon, with Speaker Moses Wetangula making himself clear on what was expected while trashing Otiende Amolo's suggestions on repealing the finance bill.
I told him that what he sent to me as a draft bill to repeal the finance bill were just papers, because you can't repeal what is not an act of parliament. Once the bill was sent to the president, if the president does not assent to the bill within 14 days, it automatically becomes law. If he has reservations and sends it back to the House, then those 14 days do not apply.
The Speaker argued that this was not the only instance that the National Assembly has had to undergo this same scenario, igniting a debate at the floor of the House.
There's a member who brought a bill to amend the Contracts Act, another to amend, I think it was the Central Bank Act, or the Penal Code, and each had only one amendment. When they were taken to the president, expressed reservations to the clause amending the Penal Code. The House was unable to overturn, so what was left was only the title of the bill and nothing else. You can't carry a title of the bill to the president for assent.
Honorable Speaker, I assume this House will agree with the president, and we will pass everything, removing all the clauses. So shall we be taking back an empty bill to the president?
To agree, to tell him that the House has agreed with his communication, because what members are asking for, Mr. Speaker, you know, when a bill goes through the third reading and it is taken for assent to the president, that bill is no longer ours. It is now with the president. Before the third reading, we have all the powers within Parliament here to either withdraw it or push it aside or whatever we want to do with it. The question that they are asking is, where is the graveyard? Where is the grave? Is it in Parliament or in the State House?
Order, honorable members, will you be...
In order to overturn any of the clauses from the bill, it would require a two-thirds majority from the 349 legislators, which equates to 233 members.
You can overturn the president's reservations and restore the clauses as you passed them ab initio. If you don't marshal, then the reservations become part of the bill.
This bill has been has really costed some of people who voted yes. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we don't want to waste time with it. We want it dead like yesterday. Please, can we go ahead and kill it right now?
The House was cheering the...
Leader of Majority Kimani Ichung'wah moved the motion and was seconded by Majority Whip Silvanus Osoro.
Chair, I beg to move that clause 1, which is the title of the bill, be deleted as proposed by His Excellency the President.
In unison, they all agreed that upon deletion, there was no bill to present to the President for assent.
I'll convey to him a message that the House has agreed with your reservations on this bill in its entirety. And that is the end of the matter.
I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the President's recommendations to the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024, and its approval thereof without amendments, therefore deleting all the clauses of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said reports. I also request Honorable Silvanus Osoro to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Wish to second, and even as I second, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all the members that have participated in this. They are in agreement with what the President, the reservations by His Excellency the President in regard to the bill, and but with a very heavy heart, Honorable Speaker.
The passage of the President's reservation is coming at exactly 1 month since it sailed through, and the consequent invasion of Parliament by protesters. The Gen Z movement, mostly comprised of the young youths, moved to the streets countrywide demanding that the bill be rejected, but the legislators still pulled through.
Very up to Kenyans.
Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Now, the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, has unveiled a committee and scheduled for vetting the nominated cabinet secretaries, with the process set to begin on Thursday and conclude on Sunday. Now, however, some ODM members have criticized their party officials for joining the government, calling them greedy. Bentura Komboka reports.
A 20-member committee chaired by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, including Kimani Ichung'wah as a member, will be responsible for vetting all presidential nominees for the positions of cabinet secretaries in various ministries. The vetting process will commence on Thursday at the Parliament building, starting with the nominee for Interior, Kithure Kindiki. The committee tasked with ensuring all the nominees are qualified for their respective roles includes Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed, Robert Mbui of Kathiani constituency, Owen Baya of Kilifi North, David Kagira of Nakuru East, Rahim Dawood from North Imenti, and Saboti Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi. Other committee members are David Koseng from Pukot South, Mishimboko of Likoni, and Naisula Lesuda from Samburu West. Deputy Speaker Gladys Boss Shilei will serve as the committee's deputy chairperson. The vetting schedule will begin with the proposed cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Interior Kithure Kindiki at 8 a.m, followed by Deborah Mlongo for Health at 10 a.m, Alice Wahome for Lands at 12 p.m, Migos Ogamba for Education at 3 p.m, and Supan Tuye for Defense at 5 p.m. This process will see at least 5 cabinet secretaries vetted each day through Sunday. On Friday, the committee will vet the nominees for the Ministry of ICT Margaret Ndungu, Agriculture Andrew Muhia, Water Eric Muga, and notable figures Eden Duale for Environment and Davis Chirchir for Transport. The vetting will continue on Saturday and Sunday with nominees John Mbadi for Treasury, Salim Voria for Trade, Rebecca Miano for Tourism, Opio Wandai for Energy, Kipchumba Murkomen for Sports, Hassan Joho for Mining, Alfred Mutua for Labour, Wycliffe Oparanya for MSMEs, Justin Muturi for Public Service, and Stella Soy for Gender. However, the participation of ODM-affiliated nominees in the vetting process has sparked criticism from some party members who have condemned the decision by ODM top officials to join the government. Kenyans have until August 1st to submit their views on the nominated cabinet secretaries before the vetting exercise begins. The vetting schedule was announced by the Speaker of the National Assembly after receiving an additional list of 10 nominees from the head of state.
People in my party should leave those positions because they should not rush to go for positions. We are in opposition. Our work is to ensure that the government delivers the services they promised Kenyans. We should not be in bed with the government because the government must do their own specific duty of delivering all the services they promised to Kenyans. So I'm not in support of that. And if you see the kind of leaders who rushed to go there, they have no ambition, they have no vision, they have no mission. At this moment, I don't want to care whose blessing. It should be the blessing of the people. Yes. But when I talked to Baba the last 2 nights, he is not in support of this.
Bentura Komboka, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Still on matters cabinet nominees. Now, the National Assembly has extended an invitation to Kenyans to submit their views on the suitability of President William Ruto's nominees for different cabinet secretary positions. This is following the provisions set out in the Constitution and the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, aiming to ensure transparency and public involvement in the process under Section 6(9) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act. An individual can provide evidence contesting the suitability of a nominee through a written statement on oath. Now, we are taking a look at this particular process. Step 1 there, of course, is the nomination, where the president already did that, and the committee review. Now, the committee here reviews the nominees' credentials, past performance, and suitability for the respective roles. Of course, you've seen the Speaker of the National Assembly listing that, naming that particular committee that will be looking on those particular issues. Of course, this is after, of course, the nomination, the submission of these particular names to the House for vetting. And so far, 22 names have been submitted to the House. Now, the next stage has to do with public participation, where the public is invited to give their views on these particular nominees and say what exactly do you think about them. Now, there are different ways in which the public can participate as far as making of the cabinet is concerned. One is through mail, where you can send your views to the official committee email address to the clerk of the National Assembly at PO Box 4184200 Nairobi. That is if at all you want to send your views via mail. The other way you can actually get to participate when it comes to expressing your views as far as these members of the cabinet are concerned is in person. You can hand deliver and your reservations as far as any member of the cabinet nominee is concerned to the office of the clerk, and this is located in Parliament buildings here in the city. Now, that is another way that you can actually get to submit your views. We also have another way that you can get to submit your views, and that has to do with the email, whereby you are invited as a Kenyan to submit electronically, which is an email. You can send it to cna at parliament.go.ke, which is the email of the clerk of the National Assembly at parliament.go.ke, or appointments.nationalassembly at parliament.go.ke. So if you have any reservations on any member that has been nominated, you can send your views like that. And what are some of the requirements when it comes to public participation rather? Now, when submitting your views, make sure you include the following information. That is the full name and contact information. This actually gets to help the committee reach you for any clarifications. So that is one way that in case you have any issue to do with any of the persons that have been nominated. Another thing is you have to make sure that you indicate the nominee's name. Clearly state the nominee you are commenting on, so that it is not, the process of investigation is actually very clear. And your views is actually something else that you can look at, which is provide a detailed explanation of your support for that particular view. What is the reason why you want that particular cabinet nominee not to be vetted? We also have evidence, so you attach any document or reference that support your views. And just something to point is that the deadline for this view submission is the 31st of July. So you have close to 6 days from today to be able to submit your views as far as the cabinet nominees are concerned. Now, Patrick Amoth has vowed to address long-standing human resource conflict that have caused significant distress among healthcare workers over the years in Kenya. Now, appearing before a joint committee of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Health and Senate Standing Committee on Health, Dr. Amoth stressed the urgent need for solutions to issues triggering industrial strikes, such as the recent delays in posting intern doctors. Here is Ben Kirira with more details.
I, Dr. Patrick Amoth, do swear that...
Dr. Patrick Amoth, who has served as the Acting Director General for Health since January 2020, presented his case for becoming the official Director General. He emphasized the importance of adequately resourcing the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council to fulfill its mandate effectively. The council, established under the Health Act of 2017, is responsible for setting standards for the posting of interns and the inter-county transfer of healthcare professionals.
Focus more on the vulnerable and marginalized population to ensure that they can be able to get the services, and above all, embed quality into the program from the word go, such that people don't just receive services, but also receive quality services.
Dr. Amoth expressed his vision for a robust and resilient health system in Kenya, capable of responding to any outbreaks, pandemics, and epidemics. He also aims to enhance curative services, positioning Kenya as a preferred destination for disease treatment over the next 5 years.
By this, I mean building capacity at our primary healthcare services and having a shift from the current curative to preventive promotive healthcare with a strong emphasis on community health involvement.
Despite his comprehensive plan, he has faced opposition from Dr. Wahome Ngare, who criticized his stance on medical ethics and his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, among others. Dr. Ngare alleged that Dr. Amoth supports the termination of pregnancies up to 28 weeks under certain conditions, which he argues is against medical ethics. Ngare claimed that in May 2023, Amoth attempted to launch guidelines that provided for medical uterine evacuation procedure, illegally sanctioning the killing of unborn children up to 28 weeks for risky or unintended pregnancy.
It is true there is unplanned pregnancy, but it is a social diagnosis. You cannot terminate a pregnancy because it is unplanned.
Abortion is not permitted unless, so there are circumstances when abortion is permitted. These guidelines were in line with Article 26(4) of the Constitution. They were meant for trained healthcare professionals. They were not meant for the consumption of the ordinary public.
Regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Ngare accused Amoth of subjecting Kenyans to psychological torture by indicating that COVID-19 did not have treatment and vaccines would be the only way to return Kenyans back to normal.
Here we are faced with a situation of a rapidly transmissible virus affecting nearly everybody, but more so the elderly and those with comorbid conditions, yet we did not have a template of how to manage it.
The vetting committee also questioned Dr. Amoth on the potential recentralization of health services, which he opposed, advocating instead for supporting counties with adequate resources and infrastructure. The Joint Committee is expected to present a report on his appointment as Health Director General next Tuesday. Ben Kerera, K24, Nairobi.
All right, time to get to some business news. Now, the newly elected KTDA tea factory directors have been urged to transform the tea industry in the country through visionary leadership. Now, Agriculture Principal Secretary Paul Rono told the directors to immediately embark on the issues at hand, which include declining tea quality and dead stock at the Mombasa auction. Now, speaking when he officially opened an induction and corporate governance training for the directors from Region 5 in Nakuru, Rono also highlighted the need to enhance the value addition of the product at the factory level, as well as revitalizing the performance of the factories. About unsold tea at Mombasa auction, Rono observed that some unscrupulous directors were colluding with brokers to increase dead stock, which they will later sell at throwaway prices to the chagrin of small-scale growers.
Will very soon get the best in their earning going forward. As you are aware, we have close to 650,000 small-scale farmers who are contributing to not only our economic transformation of Kenya, but also job creation for a number of people both in rural areas and in the whole value chain for tea. The government plan for tea is to increase on value addition from the current 5% to 20%, which has been a problem when it comes to exportation and marketing of our tea, because for a long time we have been exporting our tea in bulk, and in terms of marketing and getting the right price, it has been a challenge.
Now, the Principal Secretary, Department of Tourism, Honorable John Ololtua, has urged African states to collaborate in ensuring that tourism sector is anchored sustainably through enhanced education, skills and strategic investments that allow growth and facilitate strategic investments in tourism, as well as ensure safety of destinations. Ololtua was speaking at the 67th meeting of the UN Tourism Regional Commission for Africa and the Brand Africa and Tourism think tank, where Kenya is a co-vice chair. Now, key among the issues addressed included the current barriers to attracting investment in the tourism, education and capacity building in Africa, and opportunities that can improve the attractiveness to the diverse tourism offering in Africa. Now, Safaricom has awarded 5 more customers with 1 million Kenya shillings each in the ongoing Shine Kenya Shinda Mamili Kama Bingwa campaign. Now, the campaign, which began in early May in a bid to lighten Kenyans' financial burden, has so far made 15 Kenyans millionaires and 6 to award 16 more, with the grand prize winner walking away with 5 million. Now, in addition to the 1 million Kenya shillings, each winner will receive an additional 250,000 courtesy of the Safaricom Foundation to support any community initiative of their choice.
Angalia milionea wa kwanza ni huyo wa shilingi milioni 1 ndani ya Shine Kenya Shinda Mamili. Milionea wetu mwingine yote ndani ya Shine Kenya. Angalia vile mamilionea wanapata milioni zao wananchi. Angalia milionea wote wanatumia.
We started running this campaign from 15th of May. It's running across the country. We're making sure that every single county has a winner. So we're going to have 47, actually, more winners across the counties. So how do you enter this competition as a loyal customer of ours? What you have to do is simply dial *44# and enter. That gives you an entry and you buy one of the bundles. A bundle even from 20 shillings allows you to get into the draw. The next thing that you do is you also use M-Pesa. Pay with M-Pesa anything above 200 shillings and you will gain an entry into the draw.
Now let's get sporty tonight. Kenya national rugby sevens team Shujaa are out of the Paris Olympic Games after a 20-0 loss against Samoa in their last Pool B match at the Stade de France. Shujaa lost to Argentina 31-12 and Australia 21-7 and needed to beat Samoa to be in medal playoff contention. However,